Gentlemen, if you're over 60 and finding yourself making multiple trips to the bathroom each night, feeling like you can't fully empty your bladder, or experiencing that uncomfortable pressure down below, I want you to know something important. You're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. I'm here today because after years of talking with men just like you, I've discovered something that might surprise you. While we often blame age for our prostate troubles, the truth is that many of our nighttime habits are silently making things worse. Today, I'm going to share 5 specific things you might be doing every evening that are putting unnecessary stress on your prostate, and more importantly, how to fix them starting tonight. Before we dive in, I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Drop your city or country in the comments below. It always amazes me how men from all corners of the world are dealing with these same challenges, and knowing where you're from helps me understand our community better. Now, let me be clear from the start. I'm not here to scare you or promise miracle cures. What I'm sharing today is based on sound medical understanding, but simplified so we can all understand it. And while these changes can make a real difference for many men, they're not a replacement for talking to your doctor if you're having serious concerns. Alright, let's get into it. Habit number 1. Drinking too much water before bed. The first habit that's silently stressing your prostate is something that seems perfectly innocent: drinking water late in the evening. Now, don't get me wrong. Staying hydrated is crucial, especially as we get older. Your doctor has probably told you to drink plenty of water for your kidneys, your heart, and your overall health. But here's what many of us don't realize. Timing matters more than you might think. Here's what happens inside your body. As we age, our prostate naturally grows larger. It's not disease, it's just part of getting older, like gray hair or reading glasses. But as your prostate enlarges, it starts to press against your urethra, which is the tube that carries urine out of your body. Think of it like a garden hose with someone gently stepping on it. The flow slows down, and it becomes harder to empty completely. Now, when you drink a large glass of water an hour or 2 before bed, you're essentially asking your already challenged system to handle extra volume right when it should be resting. Your bladder fills up, sends urgent signals to your brain, and your enlarged prostate struggles to let everything flow smoothly. The result? You're up multiple times, feeling frustrated and exhausted. I remember talking to a gentleman named Robert from Texas who shared his story in the comments of one of my previous videos. He was drinking 2 large glasses of water every night because he read it was good for flushing toxins. But he also hadn't slept through the night in years. When he shifted most of his water intake to earlier in the day, especially before dinner, and only took small sips if he felt thirsty at bedtime, his nights transformed. He went from waking up 4 or 5 times to maybe once, and sometimes not at all. The solution isn't to stop drinking water, it's to be smarter about when you drink it. Try to get most of your daily hydration before 6 in the evening. If you feel thirsty later, take just a small sip, not a full glass. Your prostate will thank you for the break. Habit number 2, eating salty or processed foods at dinner. The second habit might surprise you because it doesn't seem directly related to your prostate at all. But eating high salt, processed foods for dinner can set you up for a very uncomfortable night. Here's the connection. When you eat salty foods, your body holds onto more water to dilute that salt. During the day, this extra fluid circulates through your system. But at night, when you're lying flat, gravity works differently. That retained fluid eventually needs to be processed by your kidneys and eliminated through your bladder, right when you're trying to sleep. For men with enlarged prostates, this creates a perfect storm. Not only are you dealing with more volume, but salt also affects your blood pressure and circulation, which can increase inflammation throughout your body, including in your prostate area. I spoke with a retired mechanic named Frank who couldn't understand why he was having so many bathroom trips at night. He wasn't drinking much water after dinner, he was doing everything right. But when we talked about his meals, it turned out he was relying heavily on frozen dinners, canned soups, and deli meats, all loaded with sodium. His body was working overtime all night to process that salt and flush out the excess fluid. When Frank switched to lighter dinners with fresh vegetables, lean proteins like grilled chicken or fish, and whole grains, he noticed a difference within days. Not only did he sleep better, but he felt less bloated and heavy in the morning too. The key is thinking of dinner as fuel for rest, not just satisfaction. Your body should be winding down in the evening, not ramping up to process heavy, salty foods. Simple changes like choosing fresh over processed, cooking at home more often, and reading labels can make a huge difference. Habit number 3. Holding in urine when you wake up. Now let's talk about habit number 3, and this one hits close to home for a lot of us. You wake up in the middle of the night feeling the urge to go, but you think, maybe I can wait until morning. I don't want to fully wake up. Maybe if I just turn over and ignore it, I can get back to sleep. I understand this completely. Getting out of a warm bed in the middle of the night isn't anyone's idea of fun. But here's what happens when you hold it. Your bladder continues to fill and stretch, creating pressure that pushes back on your already enlarged prostate. Over time, this pressure can lead to increased inflammation and make it even harder to empty completely when you finally do go. Think of it like a dam backing up water. The longer you hold it, the more pressure builds up in your entire urinary system. That pressure can irritate the prostate, slow down urine flow, and even create an environment where bacteria can grow, potentially leading to infections. A gentleman named Bill shared his experience with me. He was notorious for trying to tough it out until morning, no matter what. But he also complained about feeling like he could never fully empty his bladder, and sometimes he'd have that uncomfortable sensation of needing to go even right after he'd just been to the bathroom. When Bill started responding to his body's signals, getting up when he felt the urge instead of fighting it, he noticed that his flow improved, he felt more complete emptying, and ironically, he actually woke up fewer times because his system wasn't constantly under pressure. Your body has these signals for good reason. When it tells you it's time to go, it's trying to maintain healthy function. Fighting against these natural rhythms often backfires, creating more problems than it solves. Habit number 4, sleeping on your stomach. Here's a habit that most men never connect to prostate health: sleeping on your stomach. If you're a stomach sleeper, this might be hard to hear, but bear with me because understanding why this matters could change your nights dramatically. When you sleep face down, your body weight creates constant, gentle pressure on your lower abdomen and pelvic area. This pressure affects blood flow to your prostate and can interfere with the natural drainage of your urinary system. Remember, your prostate is already dealing with age-related changes. Adding hours of physical pressure on top of that can increase inflammation and congestion in the area. I know changing sleep positions isn't easy. Many of us have been sleeping the same way for decades. But I talked to a man named David who was willing to experiment. He'd been a stomach sleeper his entire life but was dealing with morning stiffness and pressure in his lower belly that seemed to get worse over time. David started sleeping on his side with a pillow between his knees for support. He said the first few nights felt strange, but within a couple of weeks, he noticed less morning pressure and what he described as feeling lighter when he woke up. If you're a committed stomach sleeper, you don't have to change overnight. Try starting with a side position until you fall asleep. Even if you roll over during the night, you'll be giving your prostate several hours of relief from that downward pressure. Side sleeping, especially on your left side, helps improve circulation and takes pressure off your internal organs. Some men find that slightly elevating their legs with a pillow also helps reduce pressure on the bladder and prostate area. Habit number 5, skipping that final bathroom trip. The fifth and final habit is one that seems so minor you might not even think about it: going to bed without that final trip to the bathroom. Maybe you don't feel a strong urge, or you're already comfortable in bed, or you figure you'll just wait until morning. But this small choice can have bigger consequences than you might expect. When you go to sleep with even a partially full bladder, that urine sits there for hours, creating gentle but constant pressure on your bladder walls and, indirectly, your prostate. Over time, this can contribute to inflammation and irritation. Plus, any urine that stays in your bladder overnight can become a breeding ground for bacteria, especially if your enlarged prostate makes it difficult to empty completely. The solution is simple but powerful. Make that final bathroom trip part of your bedtime routine, whether you feel like you urgently need to go or not. Think of it as maintenance, like brushing your teeth or setting your alarm clock. A man named George told me he never paid attention to this because he rarely felt a strong urge at bedtime. But he also struggled with what felt like incomplete emptying and occasional burning sensations. When he started making that final trip part of his routine, brushing teeth, washing face, bathroom, then bed, he found that his system felt clearer in the morning and he had fewer of those uncomfortable sensations. This isn't about how much comes out, sometimes it's just a little, and that's fine. It's about giving your system a clean slate for the night and reinforcing your body's natural rhythms. Now I want to address something important. As I've shared these 5 habits, you might be thinking, this all sounds so simple. Why haven't I heard this before? The truth is, simple doesn't mean unimportant. Sometimes the most powerful changes are the ones that seem almost too easy to matter. These aren't miracle cures, and they're not going to reverse decades of prostate changes overnight. But they can reduce unnecessary stress on a system that's already working hard to keep up with the changes that come with age. The beautiful thing about these adjustments is that they work together. When you time your water intake better, eat lighter dinners, respond to your body's signals, sleep in a position that promotes better circulation, and empty your bladder before bed, you're creating an environment where your prostate can function as well as possible given its current state. I want to be clear about something else. These suggestions are not medical treatment. If you're having severe symptoms, pain, blood in your urine, or significant changes in your urination patterns, please talk to your healthcare provider. What I'm sharing today is about optimizing your daily habits to support your prostate health, not replacing medical care when it's needed. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 habits resonated most with you? Are there any you've been doing without realizing how they might be affecting your prostate? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Your experiences often help other viewers realize they're not alone in this. And here's something I find encouraging. Your prostate, like the rest of your body, wants to function well. Often, it just needs you to stop doing the things that make its job harder. By adjusting these nighttime habits, you're not fighting against aging, you're working with your body to age as comfortably as possible. If you found this information helpful, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps other men find this content when they're searching for answers. And if you're interested in more practical health information designed specifically for men our age, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. I'm regularly sharing evidence-based information that can help us all navigate these changes with more confidence and less worry. Remember, gentlemen, getting older doesn't mean accepting discomfort as inevitable. Sometimes the smallest changes create the biggest improvements in how we feel day to day. Thank you for watching, thank you for being part of this community, and I look forward to hearing about your experiences in the comments below. See you in the next video.